What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the show. Once again, Pin the Gas. I'm Cool Jules, and we have Kris, the whole effing show, Simco, and our guest of the evening over there, the afternoon over here. He was on before, but that shit got scrapped. It doesn't matter because it's a new beginning with the manimal, Donovan Fourie. How you doing, Don? What's good?
I'm always slightly, shall we say, interested in the way my surname particularly is pronounced. Donovan is straightforward, but my surname, how do you say it?
Fourie?
Fourie. That's interesting. In Australia, I spoke to Boris and them, and they were also like Fourie. In England, they also get a bit confused and all that. It's Afrikaans, you would say Fourie.
Fourie.
Go on.
Oh, shit.
Fourie. Roll that up. Fourie.
Oh, you
Fourie.
Fourie.
I got you.
Basically,
that's great.
You can use your tongue or your throat. Basically, you scratch your throat until a piece of tonsil comes flying out. And that's how you speak Afrikaans.
Very nice. I'm going to practice that.
It's like
I'm going to be in the shower doing it. My wife's going to be like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's like just Kris in the shower going, ugh.
Yeah.
But man, it is great to have you, back. But they don't know that. We know that, but we don't care what they think.
Yeah, we had a really great conversation. I think, what was it, like a technical fault or something ridiculous happened? Yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah, stupid Riverside. But now I figured out a way where we can get all the backup recordings, and I was like, I was listening to it, and I was like, let's scrap that one. Let's do it again because I have the backup recording, but then the sound was a little choppy, the video was like a little choppy, so I was like, fuck it, we're just gonna do it, and now I know exactly what to do. So. Instead of me putting two different cameras and whatnot, it's all in one, baby. And it looks pretty good so far based on what I uploaded. So I was like, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do it like this.
Let's do it. That's right.
But, man, it is great to have you back. Now, Don, you and Kris have been talking a lot behind the scenes, behind the curtains. Don't know what else you guys are doing behind there, but hopefully it's rated PG. Kris, I'm going to let you go ahead and carry this one, man.
Yeah, so Donovan, man, why don't we let's just do it like we did it from the first one. Why don't you just introduce yourself, tell everybody about the magazine and your TV show and how you got into motorcycles and all that good stuff.
Oh, shit, a nudie mag?
Okay, so my name is Donovan Fourie, as we've already established. I live in South Africa. My dad started a motorcycle magazine in 1975. It was called Bike SA magazine. It became the biggest in this country. Since then, I was born into that. I was born 82, so I was born. My dad was already, running a magazine and all that kind of stuff. And it was called Mr. Motorcycle in South Africa. So just kind of happened on a bike since I was 4 years old. When I turned 4, I rode a little Yamaha Pee-wee 50. When I was 4.5 a day, I crashed it into a kitchen wall and concussed myself. And it pretty much set me up for the rest of my life.
Phenomenal.
Since then, I got into journalism, got into all that kind of stuff, been writing stories for magazines, been all over social media. And we run a TV show called The Bike Show. Go have a look on. It's not available in America, but go have a look on YouTube. The Bike Show, and then there's another one called The Bike Show SA. So have a look at both of them.
Is one like more of a rated R version?
Yeah, go to my Pornhub and OnlyFans. So there you'll find.
I love it. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you know what it is? My OnlyFans, you pay me to not take it off.
That's it. That's it, right? You pay me not to strip. Hey, dude, that's a good idea. I'm gonna have to check into that, Donovan.
Dude, I'd make so much money. Holy shit! Be like $5.
So
I'm not gonna
right. Also on top of all that, dude, the amazing childhood, and your TV show is I'll watch it on YouTube, and it's phenomenal. And obviously, as Joel said, we message each other all the time, which I'm truly honored and grateful for. You're racing, right? I know you did some racing, so why don't you tell us about that?
I raced for 26 years. Well, not right now. Started when I was, I think, 13. I was on a little 50cc two-stroke, which I crashed. Then moved up to a 125, which I crashed. Then a 250, which I crashed. Then a 600, which I crashed. And 1,000 that I crashed. pretty much, yeah. My 4-year-old existence of hitting a kitchen wall has been following me my whole life. Yeah, but I raced mostly sort of circuit racing. I've spent a lot of time on Ducati. Had a 1198 and a Panigale and all sorts of bikes. I've actually got here a bike I raced when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
It was a class called Power Sport, which was for 250 2-strokes and 400cc 4-strokes. So I've got it here. It's called an RVF 400.
Yep.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yep, I do. I know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was a bike I raced when I was 16. And since then they've kind of disappeared. And I managed to come across one. Mm-hmm. And the guy was like, "Oh, do you want it?" I said, "Yeah, hell yeah, I want it."
Hell
like,
yeah, I want it.
Yeah, he was like, he gave me a ridiculously good price. And now it's sitting over here. And every single day I go to sleep snuggle and warm and happy knowing it is right here. You know what I mean? You guys know.
I am jealous. I know exactly what you
wonderful.
mean. I'm so jealous because it is such a beautiful machine. It really is.
It is.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Single-sided swing arm. It's beautiful.
Well, it was the 400 version of the RC45, like Colin
correct.
Edwards and Aaron Slight and all them raced World Superbikes in the 90s. So it's
Carl
sort of the
Fogarty.
400 version of that. Yep. Oh, yeah, Fogarty gave it a year. He wasn't very good on it, but he gave it a year.
He left, from my memory, Donovan, he left Ducati, went to Honda, and then went back, right?
Yeah, it was 94, 95 he won on Ducati, and everyone said you're just winning on Ducati. So 96 he went to Honda and didn't win. And then he went back to Ducati, and everybody just said, "Yeah, well, oh well."
That's awesome.
Must be awesome riding bikes all your life. Some people like myself had to wait for a freaking global pandemic to get into motorcycles. But growing up,
hang on a second. Hang on. When did you start riding?
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's still fresh. It's like a honeymoon phase.
It is. It is
Well,
for him. Yeah.
Unfortunately, my wife is disabled right now. She has a rectifier problem, so I got to get that fixed. Got to get a new battery and got to get her some new clothes because her clothes got torn up.
What did you do?
So what happened? The first time I went down, left a few cracks on the fairing, which wasn't bad. Like it didn't look terrible. And then just I guess the material of the plastics that they used over time and riding, it just kept cracking more and more and more, and eventually it flew off on my way to work, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And then the bolt underneath that, there's one fucking bolt that holds both of the fairings together in the bottom. It rusted off, and both went. Boom. I was like, "Shit!" So I was riding
what
like
bike
a naked
is it?
bike. It's a Gixxer 750.
Gixxer 750. You know what my dad always used to tell me? When those stupid bolts underneath and stuck away and all of that. It's all Italian bikes, German bikes, and Japanese. It's getting us back for the war. That's what my dad always says. He says, I'm sitting there cursing, trying to get into this place on this Japanese bike. He's like, "Yeah, the Japanese remembered Hiroshima. They remembered it. They'll never forget it, and they're going to pay you back."
That's awesome.
I mean, we had an American sport bike. Apparently, they're making a comeback, right, Kris?
Buell,
yeah.
Buell.
Did you hear Buell was trying to make a comeback?
Yeah.
I wonder what that's like. We should put like an inline 4 Ford EcoBoost engine inside of a bike. That'd be fucking sick. Ford, my bad, and I don't mean to get out of subject, but it's too good not to.
No.
Are you a big Formula One fan, Donovan?
Formula One. What, the cars?
Never mind. Fuck it. I take that back. All right. Moving on. No, because I love
it.
I will say something. I still have not quite forgiven Harley Davidson for canceling Buell, for putting the closing the door on Buell.
Yeah.
Those original Buells are some of my favorite bikes still today. I mean, I rode a Firestorm. What's it called? It was a Fire. The one with the fairing. I think the name is sort of an XB12
like
Firebolt.
Oh,
Firebolt. That's it. Firestorm was a Honda. Yeah. So Fireball, rode one of those a few months ago. Oh man, it's just it all comes back. You think you get on this older motorcycle, and it's going to feel a bit old and decrepit, a bit sort of old-fashioned, but it all comes back. All that sort of magic, all that sort of everything it has, it's still there. And I kind of, and I think Harley missed the boat there because after they canned Buell, the whole cafe racer retro sort of vibe started happening.
That's right.
And Buell would have been perfect. Buell would have been absolutely perfect for that. Buells as they were, but styled like a little bit sort of more retro. That would have been so cool. Harley, they really missed out there.
Yeah, I agree with you. And my buddy used to have one of those, and I loved riding that bike. It was to me, it was full of emotion. The motorcycle was just raw, right, Donovan? When you get on it, it's just it was, man. You blip the throttle and you just blop. I mean, that V-twin, you just man. It was
That was a V-twin. Okay.
Yes, and the vibrations and just the Harley-ness of it, right? You felt it in the motor, but the chassis was more of obviously it wasn't a Harley chassis, so it actually handled, and it had the single big brake caliper on it, and they did it right with that, and Harley fucked up.
MCN produced an.
Do you remember what they did with MV Augusta? They what was it? They had they bought MV Augusta. I think it was $75 million, and then they wanted to can it, and Castiglione, who owned. It was Castiglione who owned MV Augusta before, bought it back from them for $1. $1.
Holy shit.
It was wow. I mean, that's the greatest business deal that's ever happened. But I don't know what Harley was thinking there.
So apparently, according to MCN's article back in March of last year, Buell is coming back with the what is this? The 1190 RX 182 brake horsepower. Twin.
Yeah, it's a track weapon.
Yeah, it looks kind of fucking sick. No, the reason why I brought up the whole Ford thing was because Ford is now in Formula One. So now we got an American company in Formula One. So it's only a matter of time, boys. Yeah. So
weren't they joining up with Red Bull or something?
Yeah. See?
Okay.
Mister, what's Formula One? My ass.
No. I'll tell you why. Is I got really bored with Formula. I never really watched Formula One either. But then they had Lewis Hamilton in a really fast car, just winning all the time, and I was always wondered. I was like, well, what's the point? And then they had this Verstappen fellow just arrive and start
smacking,
causing havoc.
Verstappen.
And I will admit, I mean, I think he's a bit of an arsehole, but I mean, they're all a kind of arseholes. You have to be a bit of an arsehole to get there. But the way he drives, he reminds me of Top Rack. Top Rack, in like the Formula One version of Top Rack.
The greatest of all time.
Just this exciting driver.
Rossi. Who?
So, we're not bothered to watch.
Dude, Top Rack is the greatest of all time. No, so like I brought that up because with Ford as an American market entering arguably the most popular, fastest motorsport in the world, I mean, Buell, shit, man. If we get Buell in like World Superbike, fuck.
So the owner, Eric Buell, he's a really cool guy.
You met him?
Yeah.
I've seen him in real life. I had physically walked up to him, but I peeped him out one time. He seems super cool, and man, all his bikes, man. Even that the 1190 before they closed it down was a really good motorcycle.
Is it a twin?
I had dinner with Eric Buell once. Is that bad?
Did you really?
No.
Holy shit.
It's not bad.
Tell us.
No, well, okay, it was an international law. It wasn't just sort of me and him and a candlelight dinner, not quite like that. But
with jazz music playing in the back.
No jazz played in the background. No, not quite.
That's right.
No, it was a launch. I can't remember which one, but it was a launch of one of their bikes, and I was invited along to that, and I just happened to be at the dinner table where he was sitting with a bunch of his colleagues. And it was kind of cool because, there's certain times you go to launches and it's all, the staff there, they come and sit with you at the table, which, being hosts and all that, but it's all very sort of polite and corporate and that. When I sat with him, it was Eric Buell and some of the guys he worked with. And it was just a bunch of guys. It's a bunch of guys who love motorbikes, who love building what they do, love doing what they do, just talking about motorbikes. And it was so easy to get on with them, especially us journalists, because we're exactly the same.
Right.
And they were joking about how things like the staff were joking with him about how like they were at the track and they were still busy getting ready for the next day. Meantime, Eric went and jumped in the bus, and the bus left without them. And the staff just came out and what the hell? And they were like, was that Eric's way of telling us, like when you get fired from your job and you get to the parking and suddenly your parking key doesn't work, and that's how they tell you. And they were like, is this Eric telling us, sorry guys, the bus is left without you, you're out of job. So you see what I mean? They were just fun people, fun bikers, fun everything. And Eric Buell was very cool.
They were all Americans at the dinner table,
That's
or was it just
awesome.
Eric?
The guys at Buell were all Americans. The journalists were from all over the place. Some weird guy from South Africa, honestly, with a surname like Fourie.
Oh man, I heard a lot of good things about him though.
No, he's very cool.
Yeah, he is.
I mean,
Absolutely.
But you know what I mean? You sit around and he's just a dude.
He's just a dude.
He's not some big head, big anything, look at me. He's just a dude who loves motorcycles. And you talk to him like we're talking now. I mean, if he were in one of these boxes here, we'd be talking like this and he'd be joining us.
Fuck it, let's get him. Let's get him.
Very
Get
cool.
him. Let's send him an invite right now, Eric Buell. If you're watching, let's get on.
Yeah, I'll just make a call.
You know,
Yo, Eric,
hold
now.
on.
Now.
Done.
if he did make a superbike racing team, why do I feel like on a world stage, like in another universe, why do I feel like it wouldn't be an American riding that bike? It would probably be like Rory Skinner or something.
It would have to be an American. It'd have to be an American riding that bike. But yeah, you know what? I actually bringing that up, Roy Skinner. I think that man, he was really good in British Superbike. He's young talent that's coming up. He's super fast and honestly,
American.
Man, I mean, but you know what, man? He's going to do good. I really believe he's going to do good.
So.
What do you think, Donovan?
You know where I could see Buell fitting in is Moto 2.
Me
Think
too.
about it.
Yeah, but they're not
I mean,
going to be
it's-
American.
Yeah, okay, but the biggest problem is building a fast motor. And a motor and electronics and all that kind of stuff to keep up with those superbike guys. That's difficult. Building a chassis though, that they could do. They're really good at chassis, and it's a relatively easy way to get in. I mean, why not? Come on.
Yeah.
What was that? The John Hopkins team, the All America. What's it called again?
The American, the American racing team is what it is.
There we go. That's the one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Imagine them on Buells.
That would be amazing.
fucking nuts.
That'd be
I think they
amazing,
should
man.
do it.
Awesome.
I'll make a phone call.
Make another one.
Write
Yes,
it
that's
down.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
No, because
So-
they bring in my bad, Chris, but they bring in Rory Skinner. I have no problem with the guy. He's awesome. I was watching his highlights in World Superbike, but god damn, he's gonna be coming to America, just posing as an American. Don't worry, everybody. I'm American. You trust me? Like I don't know. I can't fucking do a Scottish accent. Fucking Gerard Butler over here. But it's just like, man,
That's awesome.
If we can, yeah, for real. If we can like milk him for his skill and talent, maybe that might help us out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is our way of like bringing American kids on, is just milking somebody else's talent. I don't know. That's my take on it.
What? Who's the next like a big American talent? Who's the next Wayne Rainey, Kevin Schwantz, Eddie Lawson, Freddie Spencer, etc.?
Nobody.
What do you,
But
Rossi.
is there a big American?
Hold on. Yes. Rossi Moore.
ooh.
Rossi
Listen,
Moore. Who's he?
Rossi.
Is he
Rossi
good?
Moore. Rossi Moore raced in the Talent Cup over there in Europe. He's won a lot of championships. Donovan, look him up. Rossi Moore.
All right.
He's American. He is super fast. And he's 15 years old. And I'm telling you right now, he's been over there with the Spanish boys, growing up over there in Europe, racing with them guys. So I'm telling you, he's proper fast, not flat track fast. He is a proper fast guy. So look him up, Rossi Moore.
What
Facts.
I like is we have very passionate kids. So I think right now, at least for Americans, we're depending on the youth, right? Because the youth is really what's going to take the sport far. And from the people that me and Kris, the show Simco, talk to, are arguably like all these like young riders, and they're all so passionate to get to the world stage, and they all have that like killer instinct. And just talking to them leaves me in belief that we're sort of headed the right direction. But right now, as of right now, we have Sean Dillon Kelly. Like,
As we speak, and
As
Joe
we speak.
Roberts. Yeah.
Joe Roberts. Whoops, sorry.
Yeah.
Joe's fast though, man. I mean,
Joe's
you know,
fast.
he is, man. He's fast. Anybody in Moto 2 is just fucking ridiculous, right? But who knows what goes on behind the scenes?
Remember when he got that win when half the field was knocked out?
Hey, a win's a win, eh?
A win's a win. That was my first time as an American. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Fuck all you. Now, except for Aaron Canet. I love Aaron Canet.
You know why I root for the Americans in MotoGP? Why I want an American to win?
Why?
It's because whenever an American wins something, we get a really cool documentary. Am I right?
No, absolutely right, brother, man. Yes, that's dude. So yes.
I mean, Americans. One of the things Americans are really good at is their cool documentaries.
Yes,
it's true.
Appreciate it.
So I want an American to win, so we can get another really cool MotoGP documentary. Come on, guys, get on with it.
Let's do. Hey, and also, we do a pretty good podcast too, right? Pin the Gas.
Yeah, you guys are good at podcasts too. You're good at all sorts of things. I want a really cool MotoGP documentary. We had Foster 2, we had all those sort of cool things. Come on, get on with it. Get some guy to start winning. We want documentaries.
Where's my Matthew Scolt documentary?
Yeah, well, I mean, we do Donovan too. We have like Tyler Scott. He's fast. He's a young kid. Yandel Mendia. He's super fast. He's in Junior Cup. He's coming up. Obviously, we got Kalev Yakov. She's a female racer that's making huge headways out here, which is something that is good to see in the sport, right? But another thing I want to touch on too, man, that I think is a huge fucking missed opportunity for every motorcycle manufacturer, and it's one class. Fucking Moto 3. Why does not Kawasaki, all the other manufacturers have a bike in Moto 3? Because Moto 3 is where the youth comes from, right? The only two people that do it is Honda and KTM. So they get their slim pickings, well, not slim pickings, they get all the right pickings right from the Moto 3. But imagine Kawasaki, imagine Ducati, imagine Aprilia, right? Imagine all these manufacturers in there. Now, if they're in that class, which is cheap, right? Cheap as cheap on a world level as you can get, right? Cheaper than Moto 2, but now you're bringing in young racers because now we have an American team in Moto 3, right? You got Kawasaki, you got MB Agusta, you got all these manufacturers. I just think it's a huge missed opportunity, and I think if they were in there, it would tremendously help the sport out 110%.
Do you know where I especially agree with you? Is, Europe and Asia. The Moto 3 class is big news there.
Yep.
Because remember, everyone there rides scooters and small bikes and all of that, especially Asia. Mm-hmm. Remember, we used to have like Mahindra had a bike. I remember both Brad and Darren rode that for a while. It wasn't great, but, it was there. I'd like to see people like Hero making a Moto 3 bike. That could be really cool.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
TVR, Bajaj, all these sort of people. That would be very, very, very cool.
Yeah, because it would open up the doors for, just think about all the youth. Yeah. And plus, not only that is the manufacturer. So the manufacturer of, all these, just like you said, Mahindra and all these, Kawasaki and everybody else that's in there, that is also potential sales because people are going to see that and they'll be like, damn, they make a, you know what I mean? It'll help the industry because the industry, obviously, with Suzuki pulling out of MotoGP, which is, I hate, right? It's fucking disastrous for the sport. Period in general, right?
I have a theory. It's only a theory, okay? I mean, I don't know if it's true. Could be absolute garbage, but hey, it'll play out. I have this theory, and it's not good. That the Japanese are not getting that much return on investment for MotoGP. Think about it.
Probably not.
Okay, Suzuki pulled out, and people say, yeah, but they won the last race. They shouldn't have pulled out. Suzuki, that wasn't the point. They pulled out because, these big job flipping what they call Japanese teams, they only care about one thing. That's the bottom line. You know what I mean? There's massive corporations. The board of directors want to know, okay, we're putting 20 million euros into this team. Mm-hmm. What are we getting out of it? And when the bottom line doesn't quite sort of show that, then they're saying, well, hang on. And remember also things like mostly the Japanese are concentrating on Asia and smaller bikes. That is their bread and butter.
Yeah,
it is.
And superbikes, sadly, are starting to sort of become less and less so. Suzuki, I believe, is stopping superbikes soon. The others, I remember that not that long ago, the Japanese were bringing out a new superbike every 2 years. Now it's like kind of when they feel like it, they'll put a new fairing on it, a new fender on it or something like that.
Right.
So I kind of wonder, how much are the Japanese really into it? And you think about it also, Yamaha and Honda aren't performing so well.
No.
Now, the guys are saying, is that because of the development? Is that because of the team? I'm thinking maybe it's a budget problem.
Yeah,
Probably.
And they're just not getting the funding they used to. And Marquez and them are not getting the funding they used to. Whereas the European teams like Ducati, KTM, all of those sort of guys, Aprilia, they make direct sales. They're still big in that sort of sport bike market thing, and they're not so big in the Asian market. So they still, it's credible to them. So they're putting in more money than the Japanese. That's my theory. It's not good news for people like Quartararo and Marquez because they might struggle again this year. In fact, I think they might fall even further behind. But hey, time will tell. It's just a theory.
You know what, Donovan? I agree with you on everything you just said because I didn't think of it that way, but you're absolutely right. And the reason why it hit something inside because why would Drona in MotoGP let Ducati have 8 bikes on the grid, right?
8 motherfucking
dude, it fucking I love Ducati, man, but it kills me, right? It's
annoying.
like, dude, yeah, that and it's just like how did Yamaha fuck up the new engine in Quartararo when he tested, right? It was slower than that, and then Marquez walking out, so obviously there's absolutely internal struggles within Honda right now, right? And I firmly believe that if Marquez don't do good this year, he's leaving Honda.
Yeah, he's got a contract till 2024. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Honda have 2 years to keep him. And I read all the press releases on KTM, and quite frankly, Stefan Piero, who owns KTM, he's just like, whatever you guys need to win, we've got to win. We've got to win.
It's chomping.
You know what I mean? And Ducati's got Dominicali sitting right there, and he's also like, come on, we got to do this. Aprilia the same. The Japanese, I don't get that feeling. I get that feeling that like Yamaha's only got 2 bikes on the grid this year. Yeah. You'd sort of think they kind of push, to kind of keep the 4 bikes, but no, Aprilia got it. And you're kind of going, well, where was the pushback? Surely you want 4 bikes on the grid, Yamaha, but it didn't happen. And it sort of all doesn't make sense. And I'm starting to think it is a budget problem.
Yeah, well, it makes a lot of sense too. Yeah, because they don't, especially if you don't have a satellite team, you can't really, that's also development of a motorcycle, right? And it also brings other people that want to ride for you in the future in the manufacturer, right? If you only got 2 bikes on the grid and you just falling further back, nobody's going to ride for you.
Time to bring in BMW
or Buell.
Or Buell. That's what I'm saying. Americans.
I would love to see
Michael Jordan. Where you at?
That's right, Mike. Where you at, MJ?
All right. Yeah, get hold of Michael. Yeah. MotoGP, buddy. MotoGP. Get working now.
I saw a mini documentary, awesome. And Kris, we talked about this when Michael Jordan owned a Suzuki team, right? And then Michael Jordan was just trying to throw a whole bunch of money at the parts, but the factory themselves would not give him the parts. He's like, "What the fuck? I'm paying you guys X amount of money. I'm giving you all the money. Now let's just take that to Buell. Let's get the MotoGP team. Let's go. Come on, Mike,
understanding the whole story behind that MJ experience was that he was willing to throw everything at it money wise, and Suzuki seen the potential to where they a satellite team could actually beat the factory team. They're not having that, right? No factory team, I don't give a shit who they are, does not want their satellite team to beat them. That's just what it is.
But
hands down,
Fabio did it in 2019.
Right. And I thought Zarco was going to do it, but
that's true.
When he was on the Yamaha, he never did it, right? So I don't know. There's a lot going on this season, a lot of changes, and I'm super excited, man. And one guy that I think is really going to do well is Miguel Oliveira on the KT. I mean, on the KTM. On the Aprilia. Yeah. But who I'm really excited about? The duo that I'm super excited about is Jack Miller and Brad Binder on the KTM. Those two,
yes,
I have. That's my most excitement this year is them two.
The South African and the honorary South African.
I love Miller and I love Brad Binder. KTM, dude, they're the whole factory of KTM is just their bikes are sexy, their colors are sexy. They're willing to throw everything in it. You don't never. Okay, I take that. I take this one statement back. You do hear them be negative sometimes, and what I mean by that is when they fired Iker and Petrucci from the KTM, they found out during free practice 1 or whatever it was, right?
Right.
That they were out of a job, which was shitty to do. But other than that, man, KTM as a company is brilliant.
So
I know I shared this in the first podcast that no one's heard. But anyway, right now I've got 4 friends that work at the 4 South African friends work at the KTM factory in Austria. And it really is this sort of multicultural melting pot. And the funny thing is, especially a friend of mine, one I know very well, she applied for the job. She here in South Africa, applied for the job of something. I don't even know what it is. And they asked her to interview, over Skype or Zoom or whatever it was. And the funny thing is, when you normally see, you normally got these interviews, they're asking you all these sort of career-related questions, like where do you see yourself in 10 years? What is your goals? What is your this?
Right.
Where did you study? Where did you work? And that interview was a bit weird. It was like, oh, okay, so you worked here, yeah. Oh, and you have this college degree, yeah. Oh, okay. Anyway, tell us about you.
That was
like, the real you.
Yeah, they want to know about her. So tell us what you like. Tell us how do you, what is your goal? What are your hobbies? What do you like doing? What is your, this and that? They said they went on a Facebook page. They said, I see you ride Ducatis a lot. And she was like, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, my dad grew me up on Ducatis. I've always loved Ducatis. And they were like, that's cool. That's perfect. That's cool.
Why?
And so you sort of get this idea with KTM where it's a bit like they're more interested in the people. How everybody's going to kind of mingle, how everyone's going to get on. And you look at like Zarko just didn't fit in. It just didn't happen a few other times. But Miller just seems like the right person. He just, to mix with that team, to mix with those people. He just seems like, and you look at, for example, Brad. I mean, even when things are not going well, he will not diss his team. You know what I mean? He will sit there. I mean, he obviously likes the people there. He obviously loves the people there. And, even when it's frustrating, he'll still say, I think my team will do it. I know my team will do it.
Yeah.
And
complete confidence.
I just think it's a nice place to be. Yeah, it's a nice place to be.
They've proven it a couple times that they can run with the big boys when they have everything right. And Brad is definitely, in my opinion, the front runner of that, at least until we see what Jack Miller can do. Although I am one of the few that kind of agree that sacking Iker Lecuona wasn't fair. Like I thought he was just starting to get it, and then they sacked him.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Who knows what was behind that? It could have been political. I mean,
it could have been.
Who knows?
He could have been an asshole.
What do you think about Paul Espargaro coming back to KTM,
trash,
man?
sorry.
Yeah. What do you think, Donovan? You think he's gonna
trash.
fucking do a shit or what?
I don't know. I can tell you that sort of behind the scene, Paul, he wears his hearts on his sleeve, but
he does.
Behind the scenes, he's the most gentle, laid back, smiling, friendly guy you've ever met. He
That's
really
awesome.
is,
Yeah.
And he'll lose his shit. I mean, but okay, he's that's that whole Latin temperament. It's kind of how they are.
Yeah.
But
Angry
once he's sort of calmed down, he's the most chilled out, easygoing, laid back guy you've ever met. And I think he had fun working at KTM. I think he had fun working with the KTM people. I think Honda was a little bit of an eye opener for him.
Right.
Yeah, a bit of a shock. And Honda's very different. They're sort of very rigid, and this is how we do things, and we're here to win. And also, I think for KTM's sake, I mean, getting him back to sort of say, okay, tell us about that Honda. How does it go? In fact, they've got quite a thing going on. I mean, they've got Jack Miller off the Ducati. They've got Paul Espargaro off the Honda. I mean, they've got all these different ideas coming from everywhere. And then you've got Brad, who's been there for ages, knows the bike well compared. So they got so much information going on there. It's going to be very interesting.
You have tiny.
As a matter of fact, they got no excuse.
I said my piece about Paul Espargaro, but before the whole Honda thing, I actually was low key a fan of Paul because I liked what he was doing in KTM. And when I thought he was going to win that, he was going to win that race in Qatar, I was like, oh shit! Like we got Marquez's never mind. So now with him coming back, hopefully he can pick up where he left off previously when he was in KTM and help it do it. I said he was trash, but he was trash this season. I don't think he's trash overall. I just think this season.
Okay. Look, Paul has had his moments. I
He
don't
has.
think he's a Marquez or
No.
I don't think he's real
Brad
championship winning
Bender.
kind of material.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, obviously. But I mean, where he is, that gas, the Tech 3 team, all of that kind of thing. I think it's a good place for him to be. It's I think he'll get on with that team well. I think his input will be very good. And who knows? Maybe he'll gel again, picked up where he left off, because the bike he's riding, the KTM, well, technically it's a gas. By the way, KTM tried to apply to make that gas another manufacturer, so then they get another vote. And MotoGP was like, no, hang on a second. Hang on, you can't put different stickers. You can't put different stickers on your bike and tell us it's a different bike.
What a smart team.
So it's actually called a gas RC16.
Yeah.
Exactly the same as the KTM, just so there's no confusion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
do.
Who knows? Remember that bike Paul is riding is very different to the one he left. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does.
That and KTM too always amazed me, man, when they started, right? And they said, we'll win within 5 years, and they did, right? But what they got going for them is like what you just got done saying, Donovan, is you got what they did smart with Jack Miller's. They didn't put him on the 2022 bike. They immediately took him off the Ducati and put him on the 2023 bike, right? Now they got a direct comparison from their brand new bike. Who gives a shit about their other bike? We need to test what we got right now, right? And then Pol Espargaro from the factory HRC team. So now they got both the Ducati and the Honda from two top-level riders that can really ride, And so now they got the data from them two guys, and KTM's going to do it. I'm telling you.
He looks so happy.
What is going to be interesting is we're going to see, like, Miguel Oliveira, as you say, get off the KTM onto the Aprilia. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see the difference. Pol Espargaro, same thing. Jack Miller, same thing. We're going to kind of get some comparisons here and sort of learn more about what the bikes are like and which bikes are really good. I mean, for all we know, Pecco Bagnaia is the greatest thing that's ever happened, and the Ducati's actually a bit shit.
Right. I mean, it could be. You're right.
I think
very unlikely, but
next year.
Yeah, very unlikely.
We'll find out this year.
Yeah. And Aprilia is doing it right too, man. They got, they picked up the satellite teams. Their bike was really good last year, and Miguel is super fast from the get-go on it, which means and then I heard that Yamaha might do away with the 4 and make a V4. Have you heard anything about that?
When Quartararo first tested the new motor, some people looked at photos and they kept that motor under wraps, definitely, especially the whole fairing fender section was all sort of very much covering. But they noticed that what they thought looked like the side of the bike, the side plastics look like they're a little bit longer, which might suggest that it's a Forza V4. But it turns out when they did the latest test now, it's a straight 4 again.
Straightforward.
And Quartararo says it's not that much faster. So, yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't got any money. Shame. They're poor, starving Japanese guys.
You know what? Let's have a boxer
True,
4-cylinder.
I would just, I think it would be a mistake if everybody on the grid had a V4.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because where's the development for the inline 4? Right?
Do you remember when MotoGP first started, the current class, 2002?
Yep.
And there were a few weird designs. There was a V5 Honda. How cool was that thing?
Mega cool.
Screamer straight for Yamaha.
Yeah.
It did work, but it was so cool. That triple Aprilia. You remember it was the Cosworth motor.
From F1, the guy from F1. Yes, man. You know what? To this day, though, that Aprilia was so beautiful. Even right now, that was a gorgeous looking machine, right?
What
it was fast as fuck.
What is it?
But man, it didn't handle like worth a shit, right? And it blew up all the time.
I remember it tried to set fire to Colin Edwards.
And his ass jumped off like 120 mile an hour, whatever it was. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, man. And so back then, man, it was a true MotoGP class, right? Because it was open, 3 cylinders, 4 cylinders. You had Kenny Roberts in there. His dad running the team. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know this. When Yamaha was in MotoGP in 2002, their very first couple of motorcycles actually carbureted. It wasn't even fuel injected.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
I just remember listening to that thing scream. I know because they had a race at Velcom Pekisa, and I remember standing on the side of the track listening to that thing scream, and it howled.
Yes,
it really howled, like, banshee wail. and that Aprilia just sounded like it wanted to kill its rider, which, well, it did. I mean, try to barbecue what it did with it.
It did, right? It sounded angry, but it was a beautiful sound. That Aprilia was
a
gorgeous.
beautiful
Is
sound,
the
man.
best
Yes, it
sounding
was.
bike, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm just a
absolutely.
bit upset. Like, no one built like a V6. Can you imagine?
A V6
I know, right?
motorcycle? Holy
Dude,
shit.
so V6, obviously there was different weight limits. So if you had a 2-cylinder, your weight limit was X. If you had a 3-cylinder, and it just blah blah blah. So yeah, a 6-cylinder would be imagine that, dude, at 32,000 RPM redline, right? 6-cylinder just screaming, man. Yeah.
Just put a.
The problem with that though, Don, is that, man, they're so wide. Right.
What about like a rotary engine?
That,
the engines that are
that's
like
the only issue.
RX-8s?
I guess you could do a V3, right?
A rotary
You
engine.
could, I suppose.
A 90-degree, 6-cylinder. Why not?
Wait, but
I mean, okay, I don't think it'll work, but just imagine it. How cool would that be?
It would be, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
It would be the coolest thing ever.
For what?
One bike that I always
Kind of
loved?
upset we never got that.
Yeah, I know, me too. But a bike and a concept that I always loved was the CR Crichton that used that rotary valve motor from the RX-7. Where they made it a little bit smaller and put it in it. Yeah, I think that's an ingenious idea
engine
right there, right?
Like, that'd be sick. Oh, there's a concept.
Jules,
bike.
I can't hear you.
Nah,
Oh, you can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can't.
Yeah,
hear
you got to
Jules.
talk into the fluffy thing.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
What? Hello?
No, I can't hear you, Jules. You gotta.
Shit.
I don't know what you did, bud. But yeah, man, the Crichton was cool, man. But yeah,
I can hear you, but you're quite soft.
You can hear me?
I can't hear you.
Oh shit! Hold on.
I can't hear you, Jules. I hear Donovan. But yeah.
I can hear you, but it's quite soft.
Yeah. Hello. No.
Hello, I can hear you. Yeah, all good.
Yeah, my sound levels are okay here.
I still can't hear him. I don't know what he's saying. I don't
He
know
probably
what
has me
happened.
muted.
It's all good. A little technical difficulty, but we'll get through it. So who do you think's gonna? Man, honestly, Donovan, I don't think Pecco is gonna retain the title this year. I think the Beast is gonna has his number all day.
I think the only thing in terms of like flat out pace, I think the Beast is better. Has more pace. What I think Pecco is going for him is, the whole Andrea Dovizioso, what's it called? Reliability.
His approach.
I mean, I think if he's very headstrong guy, Pecco, extremely headstrong. I mean, he had one or two wobbles last year, but I think he's the sort of guy who will finish top 3 almost every race. And I think the Beast is going to try and outdo himself a little bit and come wrong a few times. That's my sort of thing. I think, but you're right on kind of like outright pace. I think the Beast is faster, but in terms of putting a championship together, I think Pecco might still have the edge.
Has a better package. Yeah. And the only thing that I see hurting the Beast too is the new sprint race format, right? Because the Beast, he never started out very, very fast, but he always come on super strong at the end, right? So. That's something.
Well, Brad's exactly the same. He sucks at qualifying.
Brad's about
so.
to smack
That's
everybody.
something that Brad's got to work on, right?
Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, Jules, I still can't hear you, homie.
What the shit? Hold on.
Well, I do love how he answers you, though.
Me too, right? No, I can't hear you, Jules. There you go. I heard you for a second.
Well, you heard me because I turned on the mic on my phone thing here. But hopefully it's there in the actual recording. But anyway, what I was saying, I was like, Brad's gonna fucking, if Casey can get this shit right, Brad's gonna smack the shit out of everyone, and I'm so excited to see that. I think Enea is definitely. I think he's gonna take that first race. To be honest with you,
I wouldn't disagree. Here's the thing. Okay, and this is so great. Really, this is so great. Is I'm gonna ask you this question. And I want to see how unsure you guys are about the answer. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Who's going to win the championship this year?
Chris, you go first.
Who?
I would say, off the top of my head, man, honestly, on the rollies on, I'm going to have to go with Bagnaia.
Bagnaia. But you're not sure about it, are you?
Absolutely
both
not.
of you, like, who's going to win it? And you both have to sit there and think, oof.
Right? Yeah,
How
I did,
cool
man.
is-
Because
I mean, really, how cool is that?
it's brilliant. That's exactly what we need, right? We're tired of seeing the Marquezes win all the time. We're tired of all the time, right? We need that. Yeah. I
I'm
agree.
going with
Right?
Jorge
So,
Martin.
but so Jorge's definitely got a chip on his shoulder to prove to Ducati. And honestly, dude, Jorge's not going to be with Ducati next year.
Nope.
I think Martin's straight leaving him.
Yeah, I don't. But I mean, same time, if okay, well, hang on. This is something I'm thinking about. I think Vinales might. I don't know. Vinales is like a. Now I'm heading across to Aprilia because I'm saying Vinales is a bit of an unknown. He is either really, really good or
He's my
utterly
X factor.
shit.
Yeah.
And if he's utterly shit too often, Aprilia is going to give him the boot. And then I think Jorge Martin could be a very good,
Front runner.
match for that.
Well, Aleix, I
I-
assume
I-
Aleix is
I-
leaving soon. Yeah. He's getting old. I don't know. He might have. I think he might have put in his best season he'll ever put. That's my opinion.
Too old Vinales.
No,
He said Aleix.
Aleix.
Aleix Espargaro, yeah. Yeah, true also. Yeah, he's also not... He's the sort of guy who will be fast a few places, but he's not the championship package.
No,
If
he's
you
not.
get what I mean.
No,
I think Jorge Martin could be. He could be.
too.
Vinales also, I mean, when either he's going to win the race or come second last, one of the two.
Yeah.
That's also not championship material. Oliveira, though, on the Aprilia, maybe.
It's interesting.
I chose Maverick as my X factor this year. I think Maverick's going to be, assuming everything goes right, I feel like Maverick's going to definitely be that person to sneak in a couple wins or a couple podiums, and no one would have saw it coming.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I think he's the sleeper pick.
Yeah.
But as I say, he's going to have 6 good races and a bunch of them where he's going to finish stone last. And at least one where he's going to pull into the pits and shout and scream at the mechanics. At least one.
Or try to blow up the engine.
Kicking shit. Yeah.
I wasn't trying to blow up that Yamaha motor. It's like, really, dude, come on.
I know, man. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Yeah.
Chris, you can hear
That
me?
was a fuck up movie, did for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
And
no,
also,
no,
man,
no,
like, Morbidelli, man. Dude, if Morbidelli don't have a really stellar year, I think that I don't think he'll be in MotoGP much longer, to be honest with you.
Do you know what? I haven't even thought about Morbidelli,
Mm-hmm.
which is a bit weird, actually. I mean, he's just done sort of nothing.
Yeah,
It's tough, man. It's tough.
it is.
And I've got this theory, though, that last year the Yamaha didn't do well except for Quartararo. But I suspect it was more a case of the Yamaha's okay as a bike, but of the 4 riders, only one of them was really good. Morbidelli just wasn't in it. Dovizioso was watching retirement. And, Darren Binder was still trying to figure out which one of the clutch was. So
yeah. No, I mean, that's right.
Well,
And he
I don't
actually
know.
did really good. Daryl did really good for his rookie year in MotoGP. I was super impressed.
yeah, I mean,
with
you
his
consider
ride.
everything he had to do. It's
Absolutely learn new.
he had an impossible mountain to climb.
And that's something where MotoGP fails a lot of times. They'll get a rookie in, and then by the 4th race, they then decided that they're not going to be on the team no more, and so the rest of your races, you're low self confidence, right? Because you just, oh man, I couldn't imagine the pressure, and just knowing that after your 4th race, you're out. It's
Yeah.
But
it's a problem in that there's so many good riders. There really
There
is. It's
is.
a cutthroat industry.
It
And
is.
there's a ton of really, really, really good riders. So, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing happened to Remy Gardner. People could say maybe if he had another year, he could do something good. Darren,
Yeah.
I think, would be not bad at all. I mean, I don't know if he'd win and all that, but he'd be pretty good if he got another go. But, man, there's so many good riders.
There is.
Of course, Pedro Acosta's coming up. That's going to be interesting.
Baby Jeebus. Yep. Baby Jeebus is coming up. Yeah.
Boys, real quick. I'm going to get ready for my actual job. Chris, you know the deal. I'm going to have you take over.
Yeah, you
Donovan,
too, man.
it was a pleasure speaking to you, man. Fourie.
That's it.
The Manimal. It's great having you, bro. But your boy actually has to make money doing an actual job. Unfortunately, this doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah, you good.
As much as I wanted to. But, ladies and gentlemen,
there we go.
Kris the Show Simco. I'll see
Appreciate
you guys
it.
on the next episode.
Enjoy.
Have a good one. Yep.
Exactly.
Bye, Jules. So yeah, man. Dude, this year's going to be exciting, Donovan. It's going to be that and World Superbike too, right? That it's going to be super exciting because now we got Remy over there, and we got Gerloff went to BMW. It's going to be an exciting year. To me, though, I think that Alex Marquez might do really well in the Ducati this year.
Yeah, that's another interesting one. I mean, Alex Marquez off the Honda going on to the Ducati, and it's once again, I mean, it kind of proves how it's going to kind of show how good is that Ducati really. Right. I don't think Alex Marquez is also quite championship material, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. He's a little bit – he's one of those riders where if everything is going well, if everything's really good, he's fast. If it's a little bit off, not so much. Which, okay, could prove me wrong. He could prove me wrong. Let's have a look. And then we got the Suzuki boys getting onto the Hondas, both of them. I mean, same thing. How crap is that Honda? Well, let's see. If they struggle next year, and there's a good chance they will. History dictates they will. But it's going to be very, very interesting. I still think Honda and Yamaha have a budget problem. I really think it's still a theory, but let's see.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the more you talk about it and the more we have this conversation, it just all makes sense. It really does, right? And I think it's just a bad move. No, I don't want to say that. Let me take that back. Not a bad move. Bad timing for Mir and Rins to jump on the Honda, right? I think it would have been different 4 years ago when Honda had their shit together, and then they jumped on it. Now it's obviously a different ball game, but this I also could see could either make Honda or really hinder them in the future, right? As far as everybody wanting to jump on the mystical Honda HRC team, Repsol, right? But we'll see, man. We'll see. It's going to be very interesting. I can't wait.
10 years ago, Repsol Honda, that was the team. Yes, you want to be on a Repsol Honda, yes. And you get on another bike with the hope that you'll eventually get a ride on a Repsol Honda. That's just how it was. And nowadays, it's like, do I have to ride that thing? Come on, my manager. Are there no other options? No Ducatis? Come on, get me a Ducati. Come on, get me
anything in World Superbike. Right. Anything but the HRC bike. Yeah, man. It's just it's very interesting. It really is, Donovan. It's look how the tides have turned, because HRC, like you said, was so dominant, especially in MotoGP. 500 Grand Prix before, right? That was the bike to be on. Phenomenal. And that's something I talked about too, is we missed that battle, Doohan and Rossi, right? Because Doohan got hurt, Rossi had just come in. It's just, man, it was a lot of epic battles we had missed, but it's just on how the torch gets handed, right? To the younger.
Do you know what? I think if Doohan and Rossi had ridden against each other, I mean, a fit, strong Doohan and a fit, strong Rossi, at the same time, okay, right now, they're both heroes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas if they ridden against each other, someone would be disappointed.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's pretty cool because, Doohan hurt himself, but the silver lining is he left a hero and he never got, he never retired middle of the field, something like that. He went out a hero, and then Rossi came in and he was a hero. So there was never disappointment. You could have these two sort of giants, and they never kind of mixed in a way. It's like saying, Agostini versus Doohan or Rossi or Marquez. Yeah. We'll never know. And I'm kind of thankful for that because, that way they both go down as absolute legends.
Because that's exactly what they are, is absolute legend. And look, man, dude, did you see that fucking dance video Jorge Lorenzo did? Did you see the dance video, Jorge?
All my news from Jorge Lorenzo comes via Boris and MotoPG.
Yeah. Boris sent me that shit too. I was like, get the fuck out. Oh my God, that was hilarious.
Man, the way he takes the piss out of Jorge Lorenzo. Oh, it's lovely. Lovely. We need more of that stuff. I mean, it's got to be.
We do.
what I mean, the reason we watch motorcycle racing, it's something we all love. It's something we're all passionate about, but it is something it takes us away from our lives. You know what I mean? It's a distraction.
Absolutely.
It takes you away, puts you into like a special place. You watch these heroes on the machines you absolutely love going around racetrack, and it needs to be entertaining. It's got to, for us, it's got to be entertaining. And people taking the piss out of riders, it's entertaining. And podcasts are entertaining. And weird dance videos is entertaining. And Quattraro wearing some weird outfit that, I don't know, with a flamingo on it or something ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's all entertaining, and it's got to stay entertaining. And the better the show, the better everything. I mean, you got these guys, right? We got these sprint races coming up.
Yeah.
Now, to me, as a fan, it just means more racing, and more racing is a good thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I'm that sort of idiot when I can. I will watch from FP1 all the way to the race,
Me too.
I will.
Me too.
I've got my MotoGP, video pass, and I will try and watch every single session in a weekend. And now for us to have another race, I mean, come on, think about it. MotoGP riders, not having to worry about fuel, not having to worry about tires, not having to worry about everything. It's just right on your marks, get set, go flat out until you get to the jet. I cannot wait. But you got these people that are like, well, no, I don't like the sprint races because what?
Are you kidding me?
More racing.
How could you not want more racing? Plus, it's going to change the game.
I know.
So
it's brilliant.
So people that really normally didn't have a chance to win got a chance to win.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that are fast straight from the jump.
Yeah.
You only got 10 laps. But one thing I don't agree with, Donovan, about this whole sprint race is like the first race, they don't deem it world championship points. I don't get that. What's the deal with that?
I'm pretty sure there are. They score half points, don't they?
They do,
it
but
goes towards the championship.
I could have swore that they wasn't going to classify it as like a real win, only the win on Sunday. Of course, the Saturday race does go towards the points. I'm talking about like a career wins in MotoGP.
The win, yeah.
So, right. So if you win on a Saturday, it's not technically a win. I'm like, the fuck it is. Right. I crossed the line first. He waved the checkered flag. It means I won.
Yeah. Well, what they're going to do now is sort of like they've got poles and they've got fastest laps and they got wins. They're going to have a fourth one that says sprint race. But I think eventually they'll just chuck that out and just throw them all in together. Why not?
Yeah, they should, right? Because it's a little confusing, right? It's like, what?
Exactly.
But yeah, it's
going to be so cool.
It is. And who do you got in World Superbike this year? Who do you think is going to win World Superbike?
I think that Ducati is so fast.
It is.
I mean, Alvaro Bautista's a good rider. And he did what he had to, and he won the championship. So 10 out of 10 to the dude. But you look at the way Toprak rides. He's just –
he's an
you
animal.
Just watch him, and you just think, come on.
He is.
Oh, man. It's watching him is so incredible. It's. Do you know what? I have a friend, one of my new friends. He wasn't into like bike racing at all. I got him into bike riding very recently. And I tried to get him to watch MotoGP, and he never quite took. But then I took him to we got together and watched one World Superbike race, and Toprak was putting that bike out of place absolutely everywhere, dive bombing the Ducati, dive bombing Ray, and now he doesn't care about MotoGP. He wants to watch World Superbikes. Hey man, you've seen that Toprak guy? Wow, you must see him do this or that. And last year it was kind of like that. It's World Superbikes just had the jump on MotoGP. It was like going back to the 90s again, during the Doohan era when you had Fogarty and Slight and all those guys, elbow to elbow. And then in Grand Prix you had Mick Doohan winning, and sometimes Crivellet bothered him a little bit. But, you wanted to watch the meat of it was World Superbikes. So we're kind of there again. But, hopefully MotoGP will be better this year. Hopefully we get two really cool racing series. Oh, please, can we have that?
Yes, I agree. MotoGP, if you're listening, actually, you need to make another phone call, Donovan. That's where you need to make that other phone call. Yeah. Call them up. Let's make it happen.
What would you like?
Exactly what you just said. More sprint races all across the board, even in Moto 3 and Moto 2.
Okay. Hang on. Hello?
Right.
No, I don't care who this is. Make MotoGP really exciting. Like World Superbikes. Yeah, both of them really exciting. Oh, and open up the old Hockenheim circuit and have them do 7 rounds there. Okay, great. Thanks, bye. There we go.
Yes.
Done.
Yeah. Yes, man.
Hockenheim
Yes, it was. It's a beautiful circuit, but man, the walls were super close from what I remember. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but right, because it's an old school track, right. But yes, I would love to see some of those old school tracks back because they were. The riders back then were different breed of riders now, right? If you took Pecco right there and put him on a bike, he'd be like, "Fuck that! I ain't riding this shit. Ain't no fucking way, right? No, I ain't doing this." Yeah,
I'll get Doc coming in, and Gobert sideways on the outside, and oh man,
Gobert to me was one of the most wasted talents there was.
Yeah.
It really was. Anthony was.
He was the Sid Vicious of bike racing. It was.
He was.
You know what I mean? He was rock and roll all the time, 24 hours a day,
nonstop.
We need fun people like him again. But I will say something. I mean, they've greenlit a race in India and a race in where was it? Kazakhstan, I think it was.
Kazakhstan, yes.
But yeah. But man, have you seen those circuits? And now I'm all for a race in India. I'm all for a race in Kazakhstan. Awesome. Let's go to as many cool places as we can. But those tracks are all built by that Herman Tulk fella. Yeah. You know, what he loves mostly is a hairpin onto the straights. Yeah. Which, if you want good racing, the worst thing you can do is put hairpins onto the straights.
Yeah.
And it's just a bunch of stupid hairpins. The faster the circuit, the better the racing. The more stupid hairpins you put, especially going onto a straight, the worse the racing is. It's as simple as that. And it's all built for car racing. And I just suspect it's not going to be a good show. They instead of saying how many different, and this is what I'm not sure about. I mean, what is Dorna's sort of plans? Do they make a lot more money going to very different places? Or should they instead say, okay, cool, instead of going to different places, let's find the best tracks. Let's find the tracks that'll make the best racing, the coolest racing, and then go there. And then when you've got really good racing, really good, fights going on, battles throughout, then the audiences will come. I mean, the money will come. You know what I mean? It's just we're going to 2 different places. I mean, I'd love to go to India. I'd love to go to Kazakhstan. But please, can we have cool tracks? Please, can we have properly good, fast, Phillip Island style, old Hockenheim style tracks?
That's what I was going to say. Yes. Our Bruno, let's bring Bruno back.
Yeah.
Right? Bruno was a magnificent track that flowed. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it became a bit of a motocross track at the end, but who cares? Come on.
Yeah, right. You just everybody's got to ride on the same track, same tire. So suspension guys, figure it out, Buttercup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I agree, man. They need to, yes. And another thing is, I would love to see Top Rack in MotoGP because, I wanted to say this real quick before we got off subject, but Top Rack to me is he's a special rider like Stoner was. Okay. What I mean by that, man, the way he rides that bike, the way he could trail brake that bike with the ass end in the air this far, lean completely over with the front just almost all the way down compressed and just make the corner and still set a mega fast lap time is it's fucking phenomenal the way he can ride that bike.
Yeah.
Honestly, I want to see him on something else besides a Yamaha.
Although it's kind of interesting the way with the Yamaha, the slow speeds, and he has to ride like an absolute maniac just to keep up, which also kind of plays into the show. But I wonder what he would do in MotoGP. I suppose it depends which bike he gets on, how he gels with the bike. I mean, you've seen people who go to MotoGP and just get there and go, what the fuck? They can't really gel. They can't gel with those tires. They can't gel with this style. Colin Edwards once described the difference between a MotoGP bike and a World Superbike. He said, a World Superbike is like sitting on a couch. It's soft, it's cushy, you can sit many different ways, many different styles. A MotoGP bike is like a bar stool. It's hard, it's rigid, and you sit on it like this or not at all. And which is, I think that sort of sums it up. And I just kind of worry about all World Superbike races. They go across to MotoGP and it doesn't always work out. But Top Rack, I mean, it would be interesting. It would be very, very interesting, especially if you can run up front. Imagine him on those carbon brakes, heading into a turn one somewhere. Oh, man.
Especially at night at Qatar. Them bitches be glowing bright red. You'd be like, look at this, man. It'd be a photographer's dream, right? Yeah, absolutely, right? Oh, man, it's exciting. I can't wait.
Showing Top Rack on the front wheel like that with this glowing disc. Oh, man.
It'd be a mega shot.
I'm with you. Right, Top Rack. Wait. Top Rack MotoGP now. There we go. It's done.
Yes,
what else? Is there anything
it.
Else you want?
No, not right now. But I'm sure it'll come to me if it does. Even if we're not on the pod, I'm definitely gonna hit you up, Donovan. You just get that phone out. We'll make it happen. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll do a video for you. You can post it, or you can post it on the group. I'll be like, "Yo, Kris wants this. Get it done now."
Hey, you send it to me. I'm definitely going to put it on the group. Absolutely. It's awesome. I love it. And yeah, man, dude, we just actually released Ray Hindy's podcast the other day, yesterday, man. It was yesterday. Yeah. It was really fun having Ray on, man.
I've actually never met him. I mean, I've interacted with him a whole bunch over social media and Facebook. He seems like a really cool guy. And I apologize. I haven't had a chance. I did see that podcast came out. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Was it good fun?
Okay. Yeah, it was a blast, man. Ray, it's just like you, man. We have a fucking epic time. Yeah, it was. Yes, dude, it was great, man. We talked a lot about obviously KTM and Brad Binder and the state of MotoGP, the sprint races, and all that good stuff. And yeah, it was really good, man. It was. Yeah. We talked about you some for sure, and
that's good news.
Yeah. It's
really?
Yeah, man. It's
whatever you said was all lies. I promise.
No, I just, man, like I told him, man, and I'll tell you the same thing, man. Is hey, man, I appreciate you reaching out to Donovan, and us becoming friends, being friends, and same thing with Ray, man. It's I love the world we live in and the sport that we're in, and everybody shares the same love, and we just, man, we make it happen. We have a great time doing it, right? And hopefully one day, Donovan, I'll be able to meet you in person. That's my goal.
Yeah, man. Which part of America do you live in?
I live in Virginia, so I live on the East Coast. I'm about 6 hours away from New York, 6-7 hours.
Okay. So Virginia and West. I know there's a song about West Virginia. That's another one a little bit more. I presume West than you.
Yeah. So West Virginia is where all the inbreeding takes place and the banjos. And you don't want to go there. Yeah, that's a place you don't want to go to. Yeah.
Banjo music sounds good.
Right. Yeah. You won't come back the same person, believe me.
As I go in there, do they smell the fresh DNA? Do they go?
We got fresh ones, boys. Yes, they do. But yeah, it's yeah. So actually, I'm going to MotoGP race in Austin this year, and then I'm going to. Cool. Yes, and I'm flying out to Caldwell Park in August to the British Superbike races.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm going out there hanging out with Dave Neal. Yep, me and Dave Neal going to hang out. I got a couple buddies out there. Yes. And then I'm going to the last Moto America round at New Jersey. So I got a pretty busy schedule this year.
Have you been to COTA before?
Yes, I've been to COTA. This will be my 5th trip.
Oh, that's excellent. I was there. I think it was 2012, 2013, there somewhere. They launched the Panigale V4R. They had it at COTA. Yes. What I will say about that track, it's such an epic track, but we did 3 20-minute sessions, and I still didn't know the track properly. There were still times where I was like coming around a bend going, okay, hang on, what is after this exactly? I spoke to all the other journalists. They had the same thing. They were like, wow, there's so many corners that look similar and do similar things, and you get really confused so quickly. But it is so epic. It really is epic.
It is, and it's a very technical track. I mean, it's and it's long, and a lot of people don't realize it, and TV don't do it no justice. It's turn 1, coming down the straightaway, going up the hill to turn 1. It is steep. That hill is steep.
When you go down the pit straight, it's sort of like you're looking at a wall. It looks like a wall in front of you. The track just goes vertical. That's what you see, and you go up this thing. You got to try and brake going uphill, and the bike's getting all out of shape. And that corner at the top is tight. Fucking hell, it's tight. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just like, oh, come on, gotta stop.
Please.
But What's interesting about that circuit is there's so many different types of corners on it. I mean, there's some fast sweeps, there's a whole lot of flick flacks, there's some hairpins, there's some hard braking, hard accelerating. It's got a bit of everything. Dogs are going ape shit. Sorry.
It's okay. No worries, man. I got dogs too, so.
This is South Africa, so it's probably a murder or something. Oh,
that's okay. Yeah, right. I'm actually at work right now, podcasting. Yeah. It's cool. My boss supports the podcast, so when I do,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Where is it you work exactly? I mean, I know it's something to do with biking. What exactly is it?
So I work at a dealership. Well, it's not a dealership. We work at a place that's called Two Wheel Morgue, just like dead body morgue, right? Basically what we do is we part out motorcycles. We part out side-by-sides. We get dealer buys and customer returns and stuff like that and sell it on eBay and Amazon and Shopify. And we got our own website. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. Yeah. It's great,
Sounds
man.
like a lot of fun. A lot of interesting different stuff coming through.
Donovan, man, I love my job. I love the people that I work with. Everybody is so epic and mega, and it's just like, dude, every day I see some new shit. I see some old shit, like we got an old 1992 F2 tank out there, right? When's the last time you seen an F2, right? Wow. Yes, yeah. I'll send you a picture when we get off the phone. Yeah. So, we see, we got a lot of cool stuff, man. It's a lot of fun to work here. It really is. So.
We both get paid to fool around with motorbikes. How cool is that? And we both get time to screw around on podcasts and talk shit with other people who like motorbikes. Oh.
Right? I couldn't ask for anything better in life, Donovan. I really couldn't. Right?
Do you know what I really like about this podcast in particular, and you guys, is like you look at all the other podcasts. They're all sort of, dare I say, kind of seasoned veteran, like journalists or whatever it is, you know what I mean? But they've been doing motorbikes for a long time. And it's, I sort of compare it to being like a porn star, you know what I mean? It's like you spend all morning sleep, doing it with some really pretty lady. And then in the afternoon, they're like, okay, come on, you're back on set. And you're like, oh, God, do I have to go sleep with more beautiful women? Oh, my God. Right. I long for a book. You know what I mean? So you know what? When you work with bikes and riding bikes and all that, you get like slightly, dare I say, sort of jaded. It's like, okay, oh God, got to go to another world launch and ride some new exotic. But with you guys, it's all sort of still fresh, still exciting, And I don't. It's actually sort of catchy. It's contagious. It's like I see you guys and speak to you guys, and I'm like, yeah, motorbikes are cool. Motorbikes are awesome, and you want to go out and ride, but you sort of. I love watching that, and it just reminds you how cool motorcycles are and the cool stuff we do. I organize a few rides and take people, for one of the dealerships here, and you get a whole lot of their customers come along. And same thing. I mean, these people are so amped. I mean, I've been riding bikes all week, and I'm like, oh boy, here I am on a Sunday riding motorbikes again. And they arrive there, they're like, wow, we've been waiting for this all week. We're so excited. You're like, hey, you're right. We're going to ride motorbikes. This is the coolest thing ever. Can't wait.
Right. Let's go. Yeah.
That's what you guys do. You guys remind me how cool motorcycles are.
Well, it's an honor for you to say that, Don. It really is an honor, Donovan. It really is. And it's even more of an honor that we're actually friends, right?
Yeah.
That to me means a lot. And yes, dude, thank you so much. I grew up riding and I've been in motorcycles a long time, dog. It's just something that it's never left me. I have this passion that just burns just so hard that I can't. I'm excited. I even see a motorcycle down the road. I'm like, you hear that? Yes. Like, yeah, yes. It just and talking about it, being on podcasts and get to interact and connect with all these people. It's just how could you not love life, man? How could you not want to, after you listen to this, go jump on a bike, right? Turn on MotoGP or look up Top Rack or Donovan Fourie and his TV show, right? I mean, come on, man. Yeah. I'm sorry. I will practice that. I promise. I will practice that. That's awesome.
Well, I think you said better than the Australians. They kind of get lost halfway. They go Donovan Fourie. I don't think their voices are capable of doing that.
Yeah, pronouncing that. Yeah. I can see that. I can see it. And So I actually talked to Tugs too, man. Tugs is cool. Have you talked to Tugs before? Yeah.
I have been on the Moto PG podcast, and it was.
That's right. Yes, that's right. That's right.
Oh man,
Yes.
it's those guys are just. It's 19 minutes of laughing nonstop.
It is, and I love Fredo. Fredo's a character, ain't he? Yes. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Again, it's fun guys talking about motorbikes, and it
is.
And it's funny, you could join. I think you and I right now could join just about any table. We could walk into a bar, see two guys with helmets, and kind of go, "Hey, man, can we join you?" And we'll sit down and we'll talk about motorbikes, and it'll be great. And we'll find different motorbikes. But like today, I was riding off road. I was doing this route not far from where I live. I live about an hour outside of Johannesburg in South Africa, and it's a really great road, and it's been raining a little bit, so it's a little bit muddy, and there's rocky sections and like tight bush sections and all of that. And I was sitting there, we're actually filming, so a lot of it is kind of up and down, but I just kept thinking to myself, this is so cool. Where I'm riding right now, what I'm doing right now, I'm on this motorbike, going in this beautiful place, riding this absolutely wonderful trail. And this is so cool. This is life. This is what, this is everything. And I don't know, it's just you get these moment of reflections, and then I come here and have a talk to you, and it's
Make sure
we are blessed. I'll say that.
Yeah, we are absolutely blessed, Donovan. Yes, it's. So so your predictions in World Superbike again? Do you think Toprak's going to win it, or you think Alvaro Bautista is going to retain his title?
I want Toprak to win it just because he's exciting. He's really exciting, and love the way he rides. I love all of that. He's a go-getter. He's a bit of a cutthroat rider, but that Ducati is so fast. That Ducati is unbelievably fast, and Alvaro Bautista has kind of worked out that he doesn't need to be a ninja on every single lap. He could just chill out and use the speed of that Ducati, and it's enough. So I think the best rider there is Toprak, but that Ducati is too fast. I find it difficult, betting against it.
I think my man Johnny Ray's gonna step it up this year and win the title. I think Johnny Ray has a vengeance coming back. Lost it after he's had it for so long, and he's getting to the point to where he's getting older, right? So I kind of foresee it as this year and next year is probably going to be his last best chances to win the title again. How big of a step did Kawasaki take? We really don't know yet. Because as we've seen last year, Jonathan Ray outrode that Kawasaki just trying to keep up, right? But we'll see. It's going to be another exciting season. And then we got, like I said, Remy Gardner. I hope he does good. I really would love to see Remy Gardner do good.
I want to see as many riders as we can up there.
Me too.
If you know what I mean. Battling it out.
Yes.
That's what we hope for. This is Joni. She's giving a wave.
Hi.
Hello. That's awesome. But and hello. I think that who do you think in British Superbike?
I don't know British Superbike well enough. I should be following it more.
Okay.
It's just there's so much we're following and so much we're doing and so much everything. I can't keep up with everything.
It is, but
what are you?
Yeah, I follow British Superbike a lot. I think, to me, honestly, British Superbike is one of the most exciting classes we have. The reason why, because it takes it back to where the rider means more than the machinery, right? Because their electronics is different. So they strip them down and they don't have full-blown traction control and anti-wheelie. They do, but it's very, very, very minimal, right? To where the rider actually makes the difference. And they can slide that bitch like Marco Melandri did back in the day, and Gary McCoy. You don't see that MotoGP now, right? Everything's straight inline, unless they're going to fucking high side to the moon. Then you see it, right? Or Marquez's crash save. But British Superbikes are super exciting. It's the tracks are exciting. It's it's kind of hard to predict. Bradley Ray won last year. He's not going to be there. He's in World Superbike, as you already know. So I think Kyle Ride, which was his teammate, is going to do really good. And him and Glenn Irving. Also, another one of my favorites over there is Davey Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're all interesting, and of course the British are all characters and all everything in those tracks, as you say. You're going to Cadwell, aren't you? You said.
Yes, Cadwell Park. Yes.
Man, the mountain. You're going to see those bikes flying.
That's why I picked
I mean,
that
where
track.
else in the world? Where else in the world do they have that? I mean,
Just
everywhere
that.
else it would be no shit yourself. Hang on, your bikes can't take off like that. Dangerous. Oh man, no, it's yeah, they need more cool circuits like this. I don't know. I get criticized for this a lot. I really do. I worry that MotoGP and a lot of it's been kind of watered down a little bit in the name of safety. And I understand people are like, but people are dying.
Yeah.
People are dying.
Yeah, I agree with
motorsport.
you.
It's motorsport. It's dangerous. Part of the reason we love it, and part of the reason those people are heroes, is because it's dangerous.
Damn
and when
right.
you water it down too much, it stops becoming dangerous. It stops becoming. Eventually, we're going to end up like what was that MotoGP where they play PlayStation?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's not the same thing. It just is.
It's not.
Oh, it's just. And I hope they don't water it down too much in the name of safety. It's got to stay dangerous, partially dangerous. People will get hurt. Maybe even people will die, but that's why they're heroes.
Yeah. I had this conversation with another buddy of mine. He's like, man, it's sad that kids are. I was like, well, look, man, this is the deal. Anytime you throw your leg over that motorcycle, you're a professional. You're on a racetrack. You're a kid up and coming. You're getting paid to do what you do. You're chasing those dreams. You know the deal. You accept that fact that could happen to you, right? And that's the way you're willing to go out. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's what you really got to decide within yourself. And that's what separates people from other people, right? They don't think about that. They're like, whatever. I don't care. I'm going to jump this motherfucker. Watch this, right? Yeah. Set the fastest lap time. Yeah. So it's, yeah, man. I'm excited to go to Caldwell Park. That's one of my favorite tracks over there. Such an exciting track.
Jealous.
Don't be.
I'll stow away in a container ship and come join you. Okay.
I wish you would, and we'll have a mega time for sure. Yes. I'm excited because I've never been to Europe before, so it's gonna be my first time. And I'm going by myself. My wife and my kid are staying home.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. The British are a bit weird. They can't speak English, by the way.
That's all right. I can act like I can't either.
No, you go to Britain, and I kid you not, one of the first times I ever went there, I got a bit lost in the rent-a-car stop, went to ask directions. Man, this guy started rattling off. I didn't understand a word he said. I just stood there like...
It's like talking to Guy Martin, right? You're like...
Everywhere you go, you got to kind of... Man, and everywhere you go, they speak a different language. None of it's English. None of it is English at all. Because, we can understand English. What they're speaking, you can't understand. It's not English. And every single town or place you go to is a different kind of not English.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I think you're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait.
The British are a lot of fun.
Yes, it's going to be super exciting. It really is. So, the Isle of Man this year, you watched the TTs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, man, honestly, dude, I don't see anybody beating Peter Hickman. Again, I don't, man. Peter Hickman's just he's a fucking beast at that track, man.
Well, the thing about Isle of Man, and they're very different types of riders traditionally.
There is
where you go to circuit racing, those are the riders with the most skill. Isle of Man is the riders with the most balls.
Big balls.
If you know what I mean.
I do.
Yeah. Where Hickman is both. He goes to circuit racing. He wins circuit racing or he runs near the front circuit racing, and he has the balls for Isle of Man.
Yes.
He has got more skill than most of those other guys, and he's got the balls to match it. So he was the last rider I think was like that was Cole Fogarty. Remember, he won the Isle of Man and then went across the World Superbikes, Same kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anybody else. Like, I know Michael Dunlop, he's raced some other races, like circuit split. He hadn't really done anything.
He's in South Africa right now, Michael Dunlop.
Didn't he just get done running that classic on that GSXR 750?
Exactly. They got what's called the SATT.
Yes.
which is they were just down at Pekisa, Velkom, and now they're coming up to another track near Johannesburg, and they're going to be racing there. And it's all classic racing. I think he had it was an S-Rad, wasn't it? The GSXR 750.
Yep, the SRAD. Yep.
I'm going to pop down there.
Oh,
Tomorrow. Actually, we're filming this on a Friday. Tomorrow they're racing. I'll just go there. I probably should. Hey, probably a good idea. Thank you for reminding me.
You're very welcome. If you're there, take a picture and send it to me, man. I want to see it for sure.
What, me and Michael?
Yes. Yes, man. Hey, man, I always been a big fan of the Dunlops. Robert, Michael, Joey. I mean, the legacy that they did, them boys are just, John McGinnis, man. I'm a huge fan. I love anything two-wheel racing. And listen, real quick, before we get off here, because we're like an hour and 45 into, which I don't care. I'll talk all day. It don't matter to me, right? But yeah, me too. So, I recently got asked this question too: is why don't Americans are more prominent in MotoGP like we used to back in the day with King Kenny and all these other Kevin Schwantz and Lawson's and to me, and my answer is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or agree or disagree, is that back in the day when they were racing the 250s and the 500 two-strokes, they didn't have none of this electronic bullshit. So the flat track style, getting it loose, cracking it sideways, riding that way, transitioned very well to 500s. It was easy for America to go over there and be fast because, believe it or not, we introduced that kind of sideways style, dragging the knees, doing that, right? So we kind of changed it. Now we have bikes that'll give you a blowjob when you sit on and start it up, right? And so that flat track style and that loose sideways don't transition as well to the electronic assisted bike because those bikes aren't meant to be ridden sideways and back tire spinning and all that good stuff, right? So it's different. The air is different. The way that riding style transition, it just don't work anymore.
And there's the other thing is that the Europeans, particularly the Spanish, have it so waxed. You look at their development programs. I mean, you've got people like starting Marquez, Acosta now, all of these guys. I mean, since they were out of diapers, they've been racing mini bikes, and they had all the the talent spotters have been sitting there on the side of the track watching these mini motos, 3, 4, 5-year-olds racing mini motos and going, that one. And then they call the dad over and they say, right, we've picked your son. Don't worry about anything ever again. He's going to get a professional riding coach. He's going to get a professional trainer. He's going to get all the top machinery, all the top technicians, all the top everything for the rest of his life. He's going to MotoGP. And that is how they do it there. I mean, the really good riders get caught up early, and they're trained. I mean, you get it on I know in soccer, you get those where they get kids and they pick the talented kids and basically nurture them to become top soccer players. Yeah. And it's similar to that in Spain. And they're all riding mostly the tracks they know. So they're all European tracks or surrounded by Europeans on bikes. They know the style. They've been taught exactly how to ride for this motorbike on these tracks doing this. Like when they said Pedro Acosta, when he did his first Moto3 race, and I mean, he did, okay, the dude's talented. Obviously, he has to be talented. But they were like, there is a rookie on a Moto3, look at him. But he's not really. I mean, he's been racing Moto3 type motorcycles in Spain for ages
12,
already.
Right,
you know what I mean?
12 years or whatever,
so,
right.
Yeah, so, by the time they get to 15, 16 and they're in Moto3, they're very experienced riders. Yes. They've had all the coaching, all the everything, the psychologists, the trainers, everything. And I think, so it's not just an American problem. It's sort of a global. I mean, we've got in South Africa, Australians have a hard time. The Japanese have a hard time. You don't have that quite the same nurturing. And then also, like people like Binder and all of them, they arrive in Europe and it's weird. You get there and these people are weird. The tracks are weird. The bikes are weird. The way everything works is weird. They're talking funny languages. There's funny food. There's funny customs. And you're walking around going, what? It's very difficult to get, because, racing is all up here. Everything is up here. And when you're not right up here, it doesn't work.
Not fast.
No. And you've got all these really, really quick riders that arrive there and everything is weird and it doesn't help here. So you got to be a really strong rider. The likes of the Millers, the Binders, the Americans that have come through, people like Nicky Hayden and all of them. Yeah. You've got to be such a strong-willed person to be able to make it, not just because you haven't been nurtured like them, but because you're going into their world. You're racing in their world. And, any non-European who can make it in MotoGP, I mean, it's like an extra naughty badge for them, if you know what I mean, because that takes something extra.
It does. Absolutely. Yeah. It's yeah, man, it's tough, man. And that's where we fail, right? We need something like that here in America and Australia and South Africa. We really need a budget. One thing we don't have is that the good training program, obviously what you just said, but we don't have like a cheap budget class, an entry level, real cheap budget class for beginners to really get in, right? And their parents to actually be able to afford, right? To buy the bike, pay the fees, the tires, and the travel and all that, right? We did when we started out with the Twins Cup class here in Moto America, okay? And we had the SV650 with the Yamaha FZ07. But now it got to the point where if you don't have $80,000, you're not running in the top 10, right? And that's super expensive. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, I think, what people really need, and this is now development, is you need those sort of single racing series.
Yes.
Like you get like an R3 Cup or something like that, where people come along, the bikes are all exactly the same, preferably even prepped by somebody else. And you arrive there with your leathers, with your mommy and daddy, and you pay whatever the set fee is. And because the bikes are nearly standard, they're dirt cheap. And, and you're all on the same bike, you're all on the same everything, and you gun it together on the same thing. And that I think is what we all need, really. Everybody needs that kind of thing. Those are the sort of series that people, get people there, get people on the line.
Yeah, because the more people you get involved and the more, especially kids, right? So every time I go to like the Moto America race, I always bring somebody new, a kid, a mom and dad, a friend that's never seen it. I always bring somebody new to the sport just to introduce them to the sport, right? Because it's different sitting down, watching the shit on TV, ordering pizza, right? You're like, yeah, this is cool, whatever. But when you're there, you feel that raw motion. You feel the speed. You see it. You see everybody having such a good time, and it's so addictive. You're like, dude, I can't fucking wait to come back next year. Where's the next race? Do I got one next month? Let's go. How far is it? 10 hours? Fuck it. I don't care. Let's go, That's what I love.
You stand at the end of the main straight. You watch those bikes coming and see how fast, as the Americans would say, fast they're coming along before they put on. One of the greatest, most glorious things I've ever saw in my life. I went to Mugello in Italy. I remember it's got the straight where they always break the speed records. It's got the longest straight in the MotoGP calendar, and the guys are doing like 360 kilometers per hour, which is, I don't know, what's it, 1,000,000 miles an hour? It's tons, It's
220 miles an hour. Yeah, 222 mile an hour, some shit.
Yeah, and they come down the straight, and there's a blind crest, just at the end of the straight. And I went and stood there. It's a blind crest, then a bit of a sharp downhill, and you brake for the first corner. And I went and stood on the other side of that crest, and this is just showing one of the practices. And you watch them, and you can't. Obviously, the crest is blind; you can't see, but you hear the bikes coming.
Right.
And obviously they make a racket. They are loud, and you hear them coming down. Wah, bah, bah, and you watch them come over that hill at such a rate of knots. They actually get sort of slightly airborne as they come over at 220 miles an hour. And you see them hit the brakes on that downhill for that first corner. You stand there and you go, holy shit, how is it possible? It is so mind-blowing to watch it. And you watch those riders. It's like, to them, none of this matters. You're watching these guys doing the speed, defying physics, braking so hard. And to them, they're just in their helmets and they're locked on, just doing the lap time. And it's so incredible to watch. It is just the most glorious thing I've ever seen.
So Mugello is one of my favorite tracks of all time. And I always, I've played it on video games, right? I've never been there in real life, but I always wondered about the actual turn one at Mugello, because even on a game, it looks like there's actually a hill there. And on TV, you see it, but not so much, right? But in real life, how much of an angle is that as you're coming up? and you hit that crest as you go to break, because it is slightly downhill, correct? As you're braking for turn one.
Quite
And then
steeply downhill, actually.
Right. And then it goes back uphill as you hit that right-hander, right, going up. So it's you can't see that from TV. They don't show you that.
I was standing kind of halfway between the crest and the corner. And when you're standing there, the crest is so sharp, you can't actually see the other side. So you can see like the top of the pit building, but you can't see them until they crest at 220 miles an hour. They crest, come over that hill, and then 1 second later, they're putting on brakes. While slightly pinked over, they put on brakes on the steep downhill. And as I say, the bike is wobbling and sliding and all over the places. And you watch the riders, even though the bike is completely out of shape at 200 miles an hour, you see their faces. They're just, they're watching that corner and they're getting that corner ready. The fact that the bike is perpendicular to the motion they travel means nothing. You know what I mean? These guys are heroes.
Phenomenal.
They're absolute heroes.
Absolute heroes, all of them, every single one. Even the slowest guy on the grid, he's a hero.
No, the slowest guy on the grid is a damn fast rider. Rider.
Yeah,
I've seen Darren Binder. I mean, okay, Darren Binder was towards the backs last year. I've seen him ride a sort of street superbike around a track. That dude is fast. That dude is ridiculous. I mean, compared to like at a track day where there's like a few racers practicing in that. I mean, he's on another level compared to all of those guys. I mean, another level completely. And the fact is he goes to MotoGP and finishes towards the back.
It's phenomenal. It really is, man.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Raul Fernandez on the Aprilia? You think he's going to do anything?
Raul Fernandez is one of those sort of complicated stories where I think he has the talent, but I don't know. He sort of rose to fame very quickly. It's like there was no Raul Fernandez, and 2 years later, he's the greatest thing ever.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think if you sort of read between the lines with KTM and why he didn't get on there, it just seems that he's got this kind of entourage, this group around him, and suddenly there's this hero, and everybody just sort of starts clinging on to the hero. It's like Rossi only really has friends that he knew from before he started becoming famous, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But and this is just theories again. I mean, I don't know, but he has this group around him, and they all kind of, everybody wants to be the manager, everyone wants to be the boss, everyone wants to be involved, and they're all just causing chaos.
Yeah.
And it just seems that it sort of soured the deal with KTM. That's what if I read between the lines, that's what it seems like. And if he can kind of get over that and just concentrate just on racing, get on with his team, get on with everything, focus on what it takes to win with what you've got, and not about listening to people chirping in your ear about how your bike is shit and you're the greatest thing ever. If you had this and if you had that, none of that. This is what you've got. Make do with it. If you know what I mean. That is what I suspect. So, yeah.
And I agree with you because it's all a happy rider is a fast rider, right? And it also has to do with every member in your team, the atmosphere, because nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors, right? Nobody knows, right? Especially with, like, example, Dovizioso, Ducati, put a thing on his leather said unemployed, which I thought was fucking brilliant, right? You remember that when he put unemployed on the back of his leather with Ducati, man? I'm like, dude, right? That's fucking brilliant. But step back, imagine the tension with inside that garage behind closed doors when it closes, right? I'm sure it's not good, right?
Italian, Spanish, those Latins, the sort of Latin cultures. I mean, they are kind of like that. They're very outspoken, hearts on their sleeves, hearts on their...
Yes.
And it's something that they're kind of used to. And, if you're not happy, you say so loudly.
Absolutely.
Whereas I think sort of Americans and, dare I say, okay, South Africans, we still get... We have a thing in South Africa called a PK. And for the children from South Africa watching this, I'm not going to say what it is. But it's a type of smack that is so hard it'll knock you into flipping next Wednesday. It's
right.
thing that goes across the side of your face with a hand this big, a father or uncle or teacher or something. It's a hand this big. It hits you across the side of the face and makes you fly. South Africans who are disrespectful or talk back or are out of line get one of those. They learn that very quickly when they're little children. So that gets trained out of them very quickly. So you tend to be very sort of polite, very sort of prim and proper. And, when you're not happy with a bike, you take your helmet off, you sit down, you go, gee, well, while I was riding, my front wheel came off. And I had to finish the race with only one front. I mean, I'm not complaining or anything, but, it's just it would be kind of nice if I had a front wheel for the entirety of the race. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of South African reaction. Whereas Italian, it's like, well, my brake lever was slightly 2 millimeters too high. Yeah, 2 millimeters. Yeah. So it's a bit different.
They are dramatic. You're right. You said that. That's perfect. I love that whole acting. That fucking mega, man. That was great. Yeah, it's you're right, man. And it's far too often that we see, when you see a rider do that, especially when it's a kid and they're probably your hero, man, it just, it's it don't really send a good, I'm not talking negative, it don't really send a good message, but it's just like, man, you just got to keep that professionalism on TV, right? Now it's fine when the garage door's shut, you want to fucking smack your fucking man or whatever, that's fine, but on TV you can't, throwing that fit, it's just like, being a parent, it's you can't let your kid go ahead.
So I have a friend, his son went and raced in Europe, very talented kid. Look, for the sake of the story, I'm not going to say who it was, but he went to Europe, did pretty well, went onto the world stages, all kinds of things, but decent guy. But when he was younger, racing in one of the smaller classes, he went out in qualifying, and what happened? Yeah, something went wrong with the bike, in qualifying, and he pulled into the pits, stopped in front of the pit, and this is at a world championship level race, and he was going off in this shit, and that, arms waving, screaming, shouting, this is bullshit, and he was being managed by another friend of mine who's also South African, moved to England. He was sort of coaching him. He came along and put his rather large hand on the guy's shoulder, pulled his helmet close to him like this, so his helmet's there, and he said, look over there, look there. And the guy looked, a bit stunned, like, what happened? The guy looked, he said, what is that? It's a TV camera. He says, yes. Where is it pointing? At me? Yes. What do you want that TV camera to see? And he was like, okay. And he just calmly sat there while the mechanic started fixing, and that was a wake-up call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love that.
Absolutely.
Said, what's that? TV camera. What do you want that TV camera to see?
Okay. Oh, shit. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Yeah, sorry.
Hi, everyone. Yeah. My bike's great. I mean, I know the front wheel's
full. I want to give a shout-out to all my sponsors, Dunlop, Pirelli, and all the It's man, that's just times are exciting. 2023 is going to be fucking mega for the sport, man. I think, especially here in Moto America, I think it's going to be a historical year.
You guys have really made a comeback. I mean, when the end of AMA Superbikes and all of that, when Moto America was really, dare I say it, was starting to.
It was shit. Dwindle. It was fucking shit, man. We had 6 races in one year. We had like 6 races. I was like, get the fuck out of it. That was back when DMG ran it.
Yeah,
the sports group called DMG ran it, and dude, once they got out of there, Rainey come in. Yes, it's picked up a lot, man, and it's exciting, man, because a lot of people's been talking about Moto America, especially overseas, and I hear it all the time. I get messages on Pin the Gas Facebook all the time about Moto America, I'm from Australia, or I'm from England, or I'm from here, wherever, and they're asking me questions, and I'm like, it just shows that our sport is growing and people are paying attention, right? Also, what helps us out is obviously Loris Bass coming over here. We got, Petrucci was over here, and that helps out a lot because we got world-class riders that's also, coming. And big shout out
riders that don't necessarily win.
They didn't, but one plus we did have, especially with Loris, and that's what I love about Boz, was that he always talked highly about Moto America, right? Even now that he's in World Superbike, he says he still watches it, and he's a huge fan, and it's like where Petrucci, on the other hand, there for a while is, he did talk some smack about Moto America, and he cried, and he's put on his little panties and and all that good shit. So, I always was a fan of Danny's, right? But seeing him and actually meeting him, it was like, I guess I am talking a little shit. Yeah, fuck it. It's well, it was just like Donovan. It was like I was a fan of him when I met him, man. He barely smiled. I felt like this negative energy because I'm an energy person, right? You feel it, right? I felt like he didn't want to be there. He really didn't want to talk. He didn't want to sign anything. There was little kids standing there, wanted to get a picture, and he just kind of looked at him and walked back off in the back. And I'm like, really, dude? Like, people are excited here in America for you. They know who you are. The Dakar winner, the MotoGP winner, right? Magello on a Ducati. I mean, fuck, are you kidding me right now? And then, you come over here and it's just that. And then on top of that, kind of downgrading the series some, which he did say that, right? But then towards the end, his attitude obviously got better. But like I said, you couldn't beat Jay Gagne.
Exactly. But But it is tricky. I mean, you get off MotoGP after he'd been there for a long time, World Superbikes, then MotoGP, and there's that sort of, level of MotoGP, not just the riders, but the whole circus. And you go to somewhere like Moto America, even though it's one of the top race national series in the world, it's still very different to what you expect from MotoGP. And I think
it is.
Yeah, he probably would have done better if he had gone to World Superbike first and then to Moto America. You kind of step it down bits by bits. But you should be saying hello to fans. You should be talking to fans. I mean, they're what make the sport. Don't have fans. You don't have any.
No, you don't. And, I understand that. Of course, you come from MotoGP. Now you're on a production motorcycle, which you're not used to riding. You're on brand new tires. You've never been on tracks that are a lot narrower, right, and not as safe as your A1 ring as Coda and all your European rounds, right? And dude, I consider all that, but at the same time, it's like I just feel like he could have handled it different, right? And I think if his attitude would have been different and the way he approached it and been happier, I think he would have done a lot better. He didn't do bad, of course. He run the first couple races, but after that, it just kind of seemed like I don't know if it was mental. I don't know what happened. He wasn't happy anymore. It just seemed like.
Yeah, I kind of wonder. There's a million factors that go into it, and I don't want to stand up for riders, at when they're not being the greatest, especially towards fans. But it is tricky because when you're at the circuit and things aren't going well, and really you're just concentrating on when you're racing and you're riding, and it's not going very well, and you're worried, and there's a lot going on in your mind, and. It's tricky to stand next to somebody who's going, oh my God, it's you, the greatest, and all of that, and you're trying to kind of get all this processing done, and it's again the riders though, people like Rossi who are always smiling, who are always friendly, who are always that's an extra level of idol.
It is
because in theory, if you're having a bad weekend, and I know because racing's like that. I mean, you're having a bad weekend, things are not going well. It fucks you up properly. It fucks up everything in your mind. And, when people can still – I know when I was racing professionally, the South African Nationals, there were a few days where I was just – I don't know. I was just a grumpy shit, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to know anybody. I was just I'd go and hide in the back of my pit and I just wouldn't come out. I'd just sit there and everyone was fuck off, but – when you're a professional, it's something you got to deal with. It's something you got to be there. And the guys who can come out smiling and meet the fans and take photos with the kids and all of that, while all of that is going on in their minds while they're having a bad weekend, it's another level of hero. It's another dimension of hero.
It is. You're right. And I guess just being a fanboy, never been in that situation. We don't.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, right? So yeah, I can understand it being under stress, nothing going your way. Everybody want a picture, want an autograph. Yeah, I see that, man. I do. It's I do, man. So yeah, fucking mega, man. Salute, man. Donovan, dude, we're 2 hours in this, man. I'm at work, dude, so I'm gonna get off here and I'm actually gonna do some work.
I've got to wear you. We're almost 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, I've got to finish some shit too.
Yeah, it's 3 p.m. here, but listen, Donovan, it's been a pleasure, and obviously you already know we're gonna do this again this year. You're gonna be back on the pod. Yes. We'll do let's do a mid-season review, MotoGP and World Superbike and all that good stuff. Wait. Yes, we'll definitely do that. We'll set it up. Yes. So, man, it's been an honor. Again, it's been a pleasure. Is there anything you would like to say to everybody before we get off here?
Again, thank you to you and to everyone. And, you guys, as I say, I see your posts on Facebook and I see your posts all over the place. And every time I see it, there's just so much motorcycle energy in it. And, it keeps reminding me why I love motorcycles. And more so, I should say thank you for that, really. You keep reminding me why I love motorcycles. Keep doing that. Thank you so much.
I will, Donovan, and it's an honor and a pleasure of mine for sure. It is, man. Just to be sitting here talking to you, yes, absolutely. So, listen, everybody, thank you so much for joining in on another Pendergast podcast with our friend Donovan Fourie. Did a little bit better, right? A little bit. I have to practice that, but yeah, a little bit. All right. That's good. But yes, everybody, please like and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube and go check Donovan out and his videos on YouTube, his TV show, because they are proper mega, and follow him on social media because he will take you on adventures and open your eyes up to the world of motorcycles. And it's absolutely amazing. So thank you guys again. I appreciate it. I'm Kris the Show Simko, and